default DJ for everything. So, appreciate you, man. Hey, we got a super awesome agenda for today. Larry Mallek with F&G is going to be on. We're going to have him go for 15 minutes, some product updates and anything you need to know about working with F&G, who's been one of our premier carriers. They're our second largest fully underwritten carrier. They have great comp, great products, great illustrations. So Larry will cover all of the above, and then after that, yeah, Trey, that is true. Frank is definitely the best DJ. And then after that, Serge Pani is going to be on, which if you have seen the boot camp, you've seen some of Serge's trainings before. But he does a fantastic job of, being a very profitable agent and, not only selling at a really high level and adding a lot of value and really teaching clients how to prepare and leverage IULs for retirement, but also, how to prospect with people who, are not leads and to be incredibly profitable. So super excited for today. Let's see. I'm going to find Larry. There you are. I will let you roll, make you a co-host, and you can share your screen if you want to, and I will get out of your way, man. Thanks for being here. And I appreciate you and everything F&G does for us, man.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it. Can y'all hear me okay? Your thumbs up.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Frank is a 90s child, I can tell from the song selection. So heck yeah, baby. We got to stick together, Frank. There's not many of us in this organization. So again, thanks so much for the opportunity to talk to you guys. I really appreciate your time. I know these things can get, drug out and boring and everything. So I'll try to keep it as light and fresh as possible. I only have a few slides that I want to share with you guys, but just so you know, I can't get over Jesse's mustache. I'm sorry. Jesse, hide your screen, please, or shave, one or the other. I don't know what's going on. That thing grew fast since the cruise. You've been growing that straight from the cruise. I don't know what you're feeding that thing. Anyway, sorry, that was just a total just off the rails. But a little bit about me. I joined F&G back in June. I was with AIG before, if you guys remember me a little bit on the final expense side. The reason that I was so drawn to F&G, not just because it's such a great company, but also because I love IULs. I'm a huge fan of them. And just like you guys, I used to sell this stuff. I did it all over the phone. So if you guys have any questions about over the phone sales, I can give you some tips. And I mean, you guys are great at it anyway, but there was a couple of years where I busted 800,000 in premium over the phone. So not all on IUL, on term and everything else, but I love the product. I think it's the greatest thing in the world. And I love the fact that Family First is finally getting to, push this product out there and, just making it a priority amongst your organization. So the boot camp is amazing. All those things in the boot camp. I'm not going to cover how to do our illustrations today or, like our application process. I'm more just going to give you a background of why to sell us. If you look at Depot's thing on the boot camp, he does a great job of showing you how to run our illustration. And there's just lots of resources. And obviously, if you have any questions, I'm always available. So I will be at the national convention at the end of this month, and really excited to see all you guys there and just get to deepen these relationships. To me, it's all about relationships. If you have problems, it's nice to find someone that you can call. I was hired onto F&G just for Family First, so that just shows you how fast you guys are growing with us. It's an incredible opportunity for me to continue this trajectory with you guys. So let me share my screen real quick, and we'll get this thing going. Everybody see that okay? I'm not going to try to do this application because it always screws up with these multiple screens. So what about us? Why F&G and with Family First Life? So we have this thing, experience the power of collaborative thinking. So we're a young company, I'd say, still when it compares to the industry. But we have a great number of people that are extremely experienced in the industry and really know their stuff. So with our agenda, I just want to show you why F&G, and then why our IUL, and then how to partner with us, and best practices, that kind of thing. So real quick history on us. We've only been around since 1959. I don't think that's a negative when it comes to the industry that we're in and where we focus our time, because all we do is IUL and annuity. We don't mess with term. We don't mess with final expense. We don't mess with anything else. So when it comes to the products that we sell, we have the same amount of experience as everybody else in the industry. The biggest difference is that's our only focus, right? We don't focus on anything other than IULs and index products and indexed annuities. So it's incredible that when you when you focus on something, I think you guys all understand, if you really want to do something good, you got to focus on it and do it over and over and over and over again. So I think that the amount of experience that we have in IULs is greater than anyone else in the industry, because that's our sole focus, and they've only been around since like the 70s. So you know, we're incredibly adept at this product. So just our timeline, you know, we went public a couple of years ago in 2022. FG is our ticker symbol, but we also still have a parent company that's called Fidelity National Financial. If you guys know those guys, if you've ever probably bought a home or did title insurance, they are the largest title insurance company in the world. So they have about 70 billion in assets. Right now, F&G has about 45 billion in assets under management. So growing like a weed, just absolutely growing like crazy. This is our sales team. Ben Holmes is my account vice president, and then you have me, and I have a full-time, which is again brand new to this year. She was splitting time with me before. Amy Bruce is now going to be my full-time internal wholesaler, because we're hiring somebody else to take over some of her other responsibilities. So she's always available to do illustrations, to, you know, help with moving processes along and that kind of thing. So there's always someone that you can talk to inside of F&G when you have issues with either underwriting or you know, contracting, that kind of stuff. We're going to be your go-to people for that. So really excited that I get Amy full-time. She's actually going to be at convention with me. So please, if you're there, come by the booth, introduce yourself, just so we can get to, you know, put a face to the name, that kind of thing. Except for Jesse. I do not want to see that mustache in person. Sorry, Jess. Okay. And huge thank you. This is what you guys have been doing. So in 2022, you did about 2.5 million with us, just, you know, getting started. Look at the number for last year. You guys did 9.2 million. It's like a 200 and almost 300% growth rate that you have with us. It's just incredible what you guys are doing with us. And then my goal for you, this is my personal goal, is to get you guys to about 20 million in production with us. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think we're going to probably, like, you know, leave that in the dust probably third quarter. So hopefully we get there, and we're going to support you in any way we can to get that done. So let's go into why us. Why would you want to choose F&G IUL? Speaking from a salesman's perspective, the number one thing that I always say first, and it's not on any of these slides, we pay better. Okay, so our commission structure is better. We're about 10 to 15 points higher than other competitors. So that's number one. And then the number two thing is that we do have the best performing product, either illustrated or in the market, in the actual market out there. So our Path Setter IUL has usually number one or two when you're illustrating it, but also in the real world, the actual performance of the product is usually number one or number two when compared to anyone else in the industry. So you never have to worry about those annual reviews and not doing great with, you know, customers and that kind of thing. So number one, it's going to illustrate better. So, because here's what happens when you try selling an IUL. The first thing you do, if you close that sale, you know what the customer is going to do, right? They're going to go out and they're going to shop, because they've never heard of it before. So they're going to turn around and they're going to start researching it, and they're going to get maybe buyer's remorse or whatever. They're going to see who else is out there, who else maybe have a better thing. And they may go behind your back and talk to another agent, say, you know, did I get the best one? Do I have the best one? And, you know, eventually someone's going to say, hey, have you heard about F&G? Because theirs perform like crazy. So that's a good thing to start with, the best thing out there. You don't have to worry about anyone coming behind you. So great performance, high caps. Our S&P is at a 12% cap. We don't really ever reduce caps unless we absolutely have to. It's very, very rare that we ever reduce a cap. We have our loan rate is at 5% contractual. That's the maximum it's ever going to be. So you never have to worry about 30 years into the future. You know, we're talking about a really long product here. So 30 years in the future, you're not going to have to worry about, hey, what's my loan rate going to be on this product when I start taking out money in retirement? So that's nice to be able to say it's never going to be higher than 5%. And then we just have some great indexes. Our Barclays index and our S&P indexes are fantastic. So that is why, number one. And then, of course, living benefits. If you're going to be competitive in this industry, you have to have a great suite of living benefits. I'll get into those in a minute. And exam-free underwriting. So those are the main reasons, and we'll kind of break those down. I do want to go over the Path Setter real quick, just so you can see, you know, where this thing sits. This is our bread and butter. This is going to be every juvenile case. It's going to be every cash accumulation case. The only other product we have that you would use would be the Everlast, which would be for somebody that's just death benefit focused, doesn't care about cash accumulation, usually someone in their 50s, 60s that just wants a permanent product to last them a long time and the lowest cost for a product. So the Everlast will beat the Pass Setter when it comes to that. But every other scenario out there, cash accumulation, juvenile, that kind of thing, the Pass Setter is the go-to product out there. We have a minimum of a 50,000 death benefit up to age 80. And then we also have some really cool bonuses and things that are going along with the indexes here. So we have a 1% guaranteed bonus after year one, a 0.25% from the very beginning. So after year one, our floor is 1.25%. So you can never go below that floor. And then we also do have that 15-year no lapse guarantee with the minimum premium. Here's where we're sitting with our par rates and things like right at that now. So our S&P illustrates the best at 7.23%. The Barclays is at 5.84, but it actually illustrates second best because of the participation rate on that. And then we also always show and share our rates on our website. So anytime that you want to look up a rate, look up anything like that, it's going to be available for you guys. So they rebalance. I don't know if you guys want to get into, I don't really get into the weeds when it comes to how the indexes work. They're all volatility control indexes. So you kind of research that as much as you want. If you have advanced questions on that, feel free to reach out. But on a call like this, I just want to go over more of the, basically I forgot to delete this slide is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so we can skip over this stuff and because it's really boring and you won't remember it anyway. So, but getting to our living benefit riders, so we have up to 100% on critical. We are changing the verbiage and things during critical. We're actually going to also call it critical injury as well. So those changes will be coming this year, which I think a lot of people have been requesting. Hey, what if someone gets in a car accident and has all these bills and that kind of thing? So that is going to change. We're going to add that this year. But when it comes to the living benefit suite, we are up there with just about everybody. The one thing that I really love is that we have no elimination period. Okay, so as soon as the policy is in effect, you can make a living benefit claim. And then our exam-free underwriting, this to me is where we kind of set ourselves apart, because there's a lot of people that say they have it, but they don't actually have it. And about half the time, or maybe even more than half the time, they're going to pivot your customer to an exam. We will never pivot your customer to an exam if they qualify for exam-free underwriting. And the qualifications are ages 0 to 60 and anything under $1 million face amount. So when you're talking about IULs, it's very rare that you're over $1 million in face. So about 90% of your, maybe even more of your daily customers are going to get exam-free. That means we will never, ever pivot to an exam. We will only ask for at most a telephone interview and at the very worst, an APS report. Okay, so with that system in place right now, about 90% of our cases are getting approved in 3 to 5 business days. So you go from application to issue in about 5 business days at the most. Okay, we are working diligently on this. Right now we have insta approval. That's our new saying for juveniles. So anyone that's a juvenile, if you're using our wizard application, which is our it's a Heckscher Firelight application. It's getting better and better every day. We keep making improvements to it. If you're using that wizard application and you have a juvenile case, you have a chance to get instant approval for them as long as the face amount is under 200,000 or below, which for most juveniles, you can pump so much money into those and still not get over 200,000. So that's exciting. We are adding client segments. I'm not sure if we're going to go the full, up to age 60 this year. I know for sure by June or July that we will have more, more age groups that will also qualify for instant approval, which is very exciting. It's not instant issue, but you're going to get a decision right in front of your client. So partnering with F&G, we have so many resources like I said, the biggest thing is you have me, you have Amy full-time now, and we're really excited about how FFL is growing and just the future that we have with you guys. So we have SalesLink as your agent portal. There's tons of information on SalesLink. You can get to all of the products, all the training, everything on there under sales tools and forms. That's where you find your applications. And then we also have this website, success.fglife.com/life agent. Every single training video is on here. So if you want to watch a video, and honestly, for us, for the illustration purposes, you can look at our illustration examples. I would definitely check out Depot's example on your boot camp, because that's awesome what he does there. And then just every other promotional video that we have and education you can get with our products is on this website. So if you want to copy and paste that, you can do that, or take a screenshot of that. And it'll also be available after. I can send this slide deck to Zach if you guys want. But that is all I have as far as slides go. I want to just see if there's any questions. I don't have the chat open. Do I have the chat open yet? So I'm gonna stop sharing.
Hey, Larry,
There's a
right
lot.
at 15 minutes, so we're not going to do questions. But what I was going to say is not to rain on your parade, but next week on our call, we're going to do Q&A.
Awesome.
So we can do some questions then. So if if anyone has any F&G related questions, bring them next week, and we can certainly direct them to Larry and get all the answers from those and send them out to everyone for any questions you have. So Larry, I really appreciate the time. Like you mentioned, and what I've seen from meeting with you guys and the leadership team, F&G is all in with growing with us. We finished right below $100 million of IUL business last year. So you guys are right at 10% of our overall volume. And I know you guys are doing a lot of things and sponsoring convention, doing a lot of things to help grow with us. So, thank you for everything you and the team do, and super grateful for the partnership we have with you guys, and looking forward to growing with you, man.
Same here, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Zach.
Thanks. All right, Serge, let's see.
Okay,
Frank,
I'm
can
here.
you make Serge a co-host? There we go. Perfect. My man. All right, I'm going to spotlight you, Serge, and get out of your way. So, guys, if you haven't seen the boot camp again, Serge has some great training on there, but he's going to go over some of the stuff that we covered on the boot camp, specifically about how to drive annual premium up through the value he provides, and how to prospect for clients without paying for leads. So, without further ado, Serge, I will get out of your way, and if you need anything, I'm here for you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Zach. Thanks. Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to everybody on the call, on the Zoom. I hope you're ready to learn. I'm also ready to learn. So we'll go ahead and start. Okay, so Zach told me to talk about two things: prospecting and how to, get the most out of a client without making the client, go bankrupt. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that the client makes money. That can afford what you're giving him, right? So now you have to be able to, I would say so, you have to be able to make the client see the importance of what you offer. Because think about it, IUL is a long-term product. It is, when I mean long-term, I really mean like 20, 30, 40 years for some people, right? If you do a baby IUL, what is called the $1 million baby plan, 30, 40, 50 years, if you want to do it. If you're doing for 25-year-old, they might pay into the IUL for 30 years, right? If they want to, or if they properly, put money into the IUL in the right way. So you want to make sure that the client, number one, is 100% on board, 100%. Now, number two, most clients, they want it, but they want to be told what to do. And I will say this, think about it. What's the percentage of people that go to work? 95. A huge percentage. When you were born, you were told what to do, right? When you went to school, you were told what to do. When you went to college, you were told what to do. When you started working, you were told what to do. So you've been told what to do every step of the way. So that is human psychology, right? You want to make sure that you tell those people what they have to do. Sometimes they want to do something, but they are kind of scared to do it. Number one, if you don't do proper education. Number two, if you don't tell them what to do. So we're going to get in there and share some nuggets, when it comes to getting as much as possible. So IUL people think it's just about knowing the plan. I mean, if you get on a presentation with me, you're going to be very surprised. I don't go very deep. The deeper you go into IUL, the more confusing the client is going to be. You want to write this down. The deeper you go, the more confusing the client is going to be. You don't want to go very deep. You just need to know some basic stuff. I never tell a client, hey, you know what, man, you're gonna make all those deep things, explaining all the S&P 500. Some people ask me, right? Some people ask me, hey, so how is it? It's not invested in the stock market. It reflects the stock market, right? So some people ask me that. I don't mention it if they don't ask me. So you need to be very, very careful, because the deeper you go, the longer your presentation will take, and believe it or not, the more confused the client is going to be and the less money you're going to make. So you want to limit the knowledge to basic knowledge. Like what? IUL is tax-free. When you pull money out, that's a loan. Easy, right? You don't lose money with the stock market because you have a cap, you have a floor. You have what they call income replacement, which is a huge aspect of wealth building. People, you're not insurance agents, you're financial professionals. So you have to use the lingo that comes with your name. Now, if you act like an insurance agent that sells only final expense, believe me or not, you cannot sell IULs. Because those are two different things. Final expense is not IUL, and IUL is not final expense. So think about it. Why do you think when you go to a bank, they have to wear suits? Those guys are broke. Yeah, seriously. I have my cousin. He used to work at men's. Is it men's? Where they sell suits, where they rent suits. Is it Men's Warehouse or whatever they call it? And he was a customer service representative, and he was going to work with a suit, every single suit and tie, because he had to represent what they sell. And this guy was making like $25 an hour, but he had to go with. I mean, I can guarantee you that the money he was spending on suits was more than how much he was making. So if you want to sell IUL, you have to dress up like an IUL guy. You can't have to use the lingo of IUL. That's what I mean. Get out of the term insurance kind of world and start talking big language. Hey, how do you protect your family? How do you protect your legacy? How do you leave a legacy behind? How you can talk about how to combine your IUL with a trust. So when you say that, the client knows, this guy knows what he's talking about. IUL and trust have nothing to do in common, right? But that's what it belongs to if you talk about estate planning, it belongs to asset protection. In trust, in asset protection, what do you have? You have trust, you have insurance, right? That's a big part of asset protection. So hey, income replacement, which is one of the important parts of IUL, belongs to protecting your asset too. Because guess what? If you get sick, guess what's going to happen? You're going to go dig your hands in your 401k, which is crap anyway. You're going to go dig your hands in your savings account and all whatnot. So the client, you always have to ask questions to the client and wait for answers, right? You always have to wait for answers. Then the last thing is, we talked about tax-free retirement, we talk about income replacement, and we talk about protection against market loss. Those are the three things you need to talk about when it comes to IUL. That's it. You should not be spending. I'm not talking about IUL lead. That's a different story. When you go to one market, that's a different beast, right? One market is different beast. Lead is they claim they know what they want, so you give them small, tiny IUL $200, and they're happy, right? I'm talking about some that are going to put 5K, 3K, 10K a month in an IUL for the next 20 years. So that's a different story too, right? So now, those three things are the most important things when it comes to knowing your IUL. Now, you can add other stuff just to compare IUL and 401k, right? Now, there is something called the presentation approach. And I'm going to share one slide with you. Can I share here? Okay. So whenever you get into a presentation, 4 things you need to do. You need to assess the current situation. You need to educate on foundation and options. You need to kill what they have and always ask them, can I recommend something? You always need legally, if you have to ask. You cannot just recommend randomly. You have to tell them, hey, do you give me do you want me to recommend something to you? If they say yes, then you can go ahead and recommend. That is how you have to present. Assess, educate, you kill, and recommend. So how do you assess the situation? Number 1, I always start with what I call FIN number. For people that watch a bootcamp, I talked about it in the bootcamp, the FIN number, the financial independence number. So that number will help you know how much you need for retirement. So think about it. Let's say most people, I'm going to tell you something. If I go on this call, I call randomly and say, hey, how much do you need for retirement? You will not know. You're going to give me a random number. I can guarantee you 100%, not even 99%. You see, most people don't know how much you need for retirement. So how do you convince me that I need more IUL if I don't even know how much I need to retire? You see, now you're changing the mindset. You're changing the mindset. You're coming in with the mindset of, hey, you need IUL to retire tax-free. Not just for insurance. Most people go to sell IUL for insurance. See, if you want to sell IUL for insurance, go to whole life policies. IUL is way bigger than that. Way bigger than that. It's not for, it's insurance, yes, but it is way bigger than insurance. That is why top executives in Fortune 500 companies have IUL. It is called an executive bonus plan. That's why they have it. So if you're going to IUL business to say, oh, I want to sell insurance, then you have to change your mindset completely. You need to change it that, hey, I want to sell something to somebody that a person can use for 2 things for business. If they want to take loans out of it, early withdrawals, no penalties. You can pull money out of it as a loan. Some companies will charge you. Let me give you an example. We talked about F&G today. F&G has a 5% loan. North American has a 0% loan. So you can literally take a loan from your IUL, pay 0%. 0. Now, F&G has a higher cap than North America. I'm not here to talk about companies, right? But I'm just saying that, the loan aspect is very important. So sometimes we feel like, oh, we just need to give one specific company to somebody. No. You need to know exactly what the person wants and what the person needs. F&G gives this. So for somebody that doesn't really care about loans, want to have growth, I'm going to go with F&G 100% all the time. But for a business owner, like I'm working with somebody right now that wants to literally dump 80K in the IUL and then take loans out. I'm going to go with North American because guess what? 0% interest rate. You see, so now, North American has a cap of 9%. So now you need to do the math. 12%, 9%. Now it has a floor of close to 1%, 1.65%. The floor is 1.65%. Now you ask yourself the question, what is important for the client? Is it to, get a loan or retire tax-free? So now you see now, IUL comes into the very complex world, that a lot of moving parts, right? You need to know your client. You need to know what the client wants. That is why you need to assess the client situation. Number one, you need to know what the client has now. Now, by running the access way to that is FIN number, as I said, financial independence number. And I can show you how to run it. It's very easy. And this number is gonna literally open you all doors possible. So I'm gonna say, hey, let's say I'm 25, and hey, I want to retire at 60, and I feel like based on my family history, I'm gonna live till 90. So I have 30 years to retire. In retirement, I have 30 years. So now there's a rule of thumb that says you need 70% of your last income to retire comfortably if you make above 100K. And if you make less than 100K, you need 80%, right? So now, let's just say my 80% is 50K. I'm gonna multiply times 30. It's gonna be 1.5 mil, right? So that is my FIN number. So now you think about it. Most people don't have good amount of money in the 401k. I can challenge you. Go to your family members and ask them how much you have in your 401k. I don't care how old they are. They're always below $200,000. And if I tell you that, hey, you need 1.5 mil to retire, what does it tell you? That you need to fix it. You need to fix it, straight up. You have 200K, you need 1.5 mil, you need to fix it. And I always give them 3 options. Option number 1, you reduce your retirement goal, and I tell the client that you're gonna retire broke, because if you're going down in retirement goals or your retirement targets, I mean, you're not doing well anyway now. So if you have to retire with less money, I mean, you're gonna be broke anyway. Number 2, get a side hustle. Number 3, do what they call proper investments. And I tell the client, choose what you want out of these 3. Most clients will choose side hustle and proper investment, 99% of the time. And that is why I close every client to get into my business. I can recruit anybody if I want to recruit. I'm not here talking about recruiting, because I've shown you that you need help in your life. Because if you don't chase something today, only a dumb person will do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. And I let the client know, hey, look at the people you're working with. How did they retire? Do you feel like you're comfortable seeing them retire? Do you feel like they're happy? Do they come back to work after retirement? Do you want to retire like that if you do the same thing like them? 99% of the time is no. So with that, you can explore your business. We're not talking about recruiting here, we're talking about IUL. So anyway, if you do this, guess what? The client will know for sure that they need to do something. They need to do something, 100%, right? So now I'm going to go back to this slide. Guess what I've done? I've assessed the client's situation. So I know exactly where they are right now. I know they have a 401k because when I run my FIN number, I'm going to ask them, so what do you have in your portfolio? They're going to have a 401k and IRA. Most of the people have, that's what they have, right? Then, of course, I know for sure that they have no money in their 401k. And I know the situation they find themselves right now. With that, I need to educate them on IUL. When I educate them on IUL, I kill what I have. You have to kill it. Think about it. How do you catch a fish? With a worm, mostly, right? You're killing a worm to get a fish. Absolutely. If you go to the forest, you want to get a lion. You know how you want to get a lion? Put a lamb somewhere, man. The lion's gonna pounce the lamb. You're gonna get the lion. So you want to kill this. If you don't kill this, you will not get this. You will not get the other one, because now, except the client has a bunch of money. Except the client has a bunch of money, right? So you always want to replace or at least add. So I always give the client the option. Do you want to just do do you want to match your 401k and then do the IUL, or you want to kill your 401k completely and do the IUL? It's gonna be 70% say I want to stop my 401k and do IUL. 30%, they match. They just match and then add to the IUL. So that's what most clients do, right? So now, when you kill, guess what? You ask the client, can I recommend something to you from an expert perspective? Do you want me to recommend something to you? Legally, you cannot recommend without asking, because if you did your insurance exam, they told you cannot recommend. You have to always ask. Do you want me to recommend something to you? Yes? Okay. So from my perspective, based on your situation, from what I see, I feel like you need to get this and that. That's it. As easy as that. And you need to be very confident about what you're saying. No doubts, no fear, no whatever. Straight up, upfront, clear. That's what I feel like you're going to get, and that's how it's going to benefit you. Right? So now, in your presentation, when you know the client's concerns, when you know the client's needs, make sure that you focus on that one thing in the IUL that was going to help the client out. Again, I said income replacement, tax-free retirement, right? And market loss. If the client tells me, I don't like to lose money, I hate my 401k, I've been losing so much money, I'm going to pounce on that. I'm going to make the client understand all the time, man, you see, you lost money last time, but with this stuff, man, you're protected. You always have to bring that back. Always bring it back in your conversations, right? And if you feel like, hey, the client, the client doesn't want to pay tax. Most of my clients, I always make them understand that tax-free is good. And I ask them the question, hey, guess what? If I gave you 100K and I said 20 years, 100K is going to be $500,000. And you had two options: to pay taxes on the 500K, or to pay taxes on the $100,000, invest it and get maybe $400,000. What would you prefer? Will you prefer to pay taxes on $100,000 before and never to pay taxes again, or you rather want to pay taxes on $500,000? So you always need to make clients think. That's the secret. They have to think. They need to think, and always ask questions. And when they answer, you're good to go. Don't answer questions for your clients. Well, you need to always do what they call, I want to show you one last slide. I don't know if I should show you this, but I'm showing my trainings. Exactly. I'm going to show you, Zach. I'm going to show you. So I have one last slide. Let me make sure that is the slide I want to show you first. Yeah. So there's something called the 4 steps to closing, and this is more psychology now, right? That's the psychology part of the IUL. You always need to present the concept. Remember, I talked about the 4 steps of the presentation, the 4 steps in your presentation. So every step of that presentation, you need to follow these 4 steps. Every step. I'm giving you $1 million stuff, by the way. This is I never showed any team, by the way. Even my team, only my team has this. Even though I'm not shared with my research team. So, yeah. So the first one is present the concept. You need to present the concept. Present the concept. What is the concept? This step, that is psychology there. You present the concept, you always ask a closing question. Your kids are the best closers. Kids are the best closers. I remember my son came to my office and we're talking and he asked me a question. He was like, why do you spend a lot of time in your office, Daddy? Because I'm working. He was like, do you know you can spend more time with me too and work less? And maybe work when I'm not there when I go to school. He closed me. You know what I did? Shut on my computer. I went to play with him. So you always need to ask closing questions. And when you ask those questions, always wait for an answer. Always. Because I don't know if you're believers. I'm a strong believer in God. The Bible says faith cometh by hearing, and hearing from the word of God. So what does it mean? When you speak out, your ear listens, your brain digests it and kind of create neurons that will kind of, build emotions in you. If I say, hey, Zach, guess what? You're mad, right? If Zach says yes, he will not be mad. I will not stir up emotions in Zach. But if I say, hey, Zach, guess what? How do you feel about this, Zach? That at your job, your CEO has an IUL and they give you the crappy 401k. That even the founder of the 401k hates it with a passion. How do you feel about this, Zach? And Zach will be like, man, I feel sad. I feel upset. The moment Zach says, I feel sad, guess what? He's going to be sad. He said it. He said it. Came out of his mouth and it built emotions in him. Right? So you always ask emotional questions. Wait for an answer, because when the answer comes out, it comes with ownership. He owns it. You don't own it for him, he owns it. And then boom, you take it away. I'm going to tell you, I spoke with one lady last week. Was it this week? Talked with a bunch of people. So I don't remember if it was last week or this week. But anyway, we had a conversation and she was like, man, I don't know if I really want to do this. I told her, hey, man, you know what? You don't even need to do it, by the way. You don't need to do it. I'm here to help you, by the way. I'm here to help you. But guess what? I'm reaching my hands to you, out to you to help you out. So it's for you to hold my hands. I will not hold your hands. As a matter of fact, you're going to hold my hand to walk with me. I will not hold your hand to walk with you. So you don't need to do it. I'm giving you valuable information. It's for you to take it or you leave it. When I said that was taken away, but I took it away from her. I made her feel uncomfortable because she felt like I was trying to sell her something. I made her feel like, hey, you know what? I'm not selling you something. You need it actually more than you count yourself blessed that we're talking today. And guess what happened? Boom. So no, can you send an application to me? That's how the conversation completely changed. And I sent her the paperwork to fill out for me to put in the application, right? So you always need to take away in every conversation, even in your day-to-day life. You need to practice these things as you talk to people so that should become part of you, right? To me, it's part of me. I mean, I take away all the time. Talk to me, I just follow this thing randomly. I've done it 1 million times. No, for you, you have to take time, to practice and then, understand how it works. So 60% of your IUL is not knowledge. 60% is emotions, by the way. 60% of closing the IUL is psychology, right? And 40% is the rest. 60% is psychology. So you will not absolutely, if you feel like, you need to know all the in-depth of IUL, no. Now you're going to get a client that will bombard you. It's going to be out of 30 clients. One client out of 30 clients will surely bombard you with some bunch of questions. But guess what? If you lose one client out of 30 clients, you're good to go. You're just moving forward, right? So at the end of the day, you will not close everybody, right? So don't waste your time on clients that are not, that you don't need to waste your time on. As easy as that. Time is money, right? Straight up. Okay, Zach, I don't know if I went over, I know you told me to 45. So
hey, you nailed it, man. You are obviously professional because you were right on the dot. That was super good. If anyone got anything out of this, say thank you in the chat to Serge. Serge, I appreciate you. Your training is always really, really good, and I learn something every time. If anyone wants to watch more of it, it is in the boot camp, and Serge has, he broke down on a whiteboard. By the time I got done, I was like, dang, I need to buy more insurance. I need another IUL from Serge. So we went through the boot camp, and I was like, Serge got me to want to spend the most money on it. So I appreciate you, my man. Next week on here, guys, we're going to do a Q&A, like I mentioned after Larry talked. So make sure if you got something out of today and you have questions for next week, we'll have Nicole on, we'll have some people from the annuity team and the IUL team on to answer any questions you guys have. So I appreciate everyone for jumping on this week, and we will see you same time again next week. Thanks, Serge. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.